How's it going, everybody? My name is Jack Wilton, and this is my week 2 video. This is the prompt I asked ChatGPT. How does platformization affect the production and distribution of newly created video games? And this is a glimpse of what Chat gave me as an output. When I asked Chat to answer my prompt, it did by listing out 7 different areas as to where these effects could take place. I'm confused as to why the output did not talk about the considerations or challenges that may occur in each area. If these areas are important to the success of someone attempting to build a platform for their new game, why not talk about it? So looking a little bit into the output here, looking at section 1, development tools and infrastructure, the output, the information looked correct, but I wish that Chat would say something about how these tools would help more rather than kind of just saying what they are and the positive effects that they could bring, because a lot of people maybe new to building a game or something may not know what these terms mean. Standardization and compatibility, section 2. The section is pretty good. It talks about why standards and guidelines are implemented and follows up with effectively giving a good answer as to why. You can see here, it gives a good answer. Simplifies the development process, and they can create content without worrying about compatibility issues. Distribution and accessibility, section 3. The output for the section is good as well. It effectively talks about why platformization positively affects developers and their distribution and accessibility efforts. It gives examples, and it even mentions indie game makers, which is the group that will be most likely looking for this type of information as they continue to build their game. Monetization and revenue models, section 4 down here. The information in the section is good, but it doesn't really relate back to the prompt that I asked Chat. It doesn't really mention anything about the production effort or the distribution effort of a game, and it rather just talks about how these efforts could bring a developer money instead of kind of talking about what I wanted it to say. Community and engagement, section 5. This section was much like last section. The information was good, and it would be helpful, but it did not relate to the prompt. The information to me seems more to kind of about like how to build a community around your game and kind of more member retention rather than talking about production and distribution of a game. Updates and maintenance, section 6. This section is good. The information doesn't necessarily talk about the production of the game itself, but more about how the developer can effectively fix and update their product because of platformization, which in turn kind of helps them with their production, and it will also aid distribution efforts if it's a cleanly run game. Again, like it doesn't really talk about how it's about, making the game, but how it can make the game better, so to say. And if your game's running clean, then it'll be easier for you to distribute, and more people will be willing to buy your game. Last section here, analytics and data insights. This information looks like it's correct and it looks good, and the section can be related back to the idea of distribution and production. Being able to get data from your customers can lead to changes in the production and distribution in order to receive more sales or revenue or etc. Like, if most of your games are being played in the Southeast or the West or something, you can switch up your distribution channels and kind of get it into the face of more people living in the West or wherever the section is that you're trying to, sell your game. And for the conclusion, for me, I asked why couldn't Chat include monetary data to aid its output, like how much it would cost to enroll in a service like Epic Games or the App Store. Because for somebody, looking to make a game, that's an important metric that you're going to have to take into account when trying to start your own platform. It also never mentioned anything about platform-specific guidelines, how to navigate the competitive marketplace and to adapt to evolving platform requirements and policies, which are just found right down here in this section. Because again, these are big challenges that you're going to face while trying to build your platform, and based on my prompt, I feel like they should have at least mentioned it a little bit, except just right at the end. So I thought that was kind of weird. And I also realized that there wasn't a whole lot of use of tailored language for indie developers, because at the end of the day, like I said, they're going to be the ones that are kind of looking for this kind of information, how to build a platform and better their game and get it out into the audience better. So them not even kind of really talking about them in general just kind of makes me feel like it kind of just didn't really do what I wanted, so to say. Mhm. And a question I have is, why is it so hard for these large language models to talk about both the good and bad of a said prompt? Why must I ensure that I'm putting in certain buzzwords to ensure that these large language models understand what I'm talking about? And that question kind of goes back to how it didn't use any tailored language or really like kind of give a good compare and contrast about why this would be good versus why it wouldn't. And I'm hoping to learn more about that soon.